But you know, again, we're not on theater. We're on camera, and most of what we're doing is it's the timing, it's the way you say it, it's the fact, you know, if you're doing something comedic, it's the fact that your character would have nerve to bring that up when you're in that situation. So again, how did I learn that? From years and years and years, you know, decades now of working on camera, and again, making mistakes and learning and watching and observing, and always working on my craft.
Yeah.
Right. That's the other thing, is become an expert at your craft. If you want to, you know, I say to everyone, you want to, somebody wants to play the violin for the London Philharmonic. Yeah, you can have that dream, but you got to become an expert at your craft first.
Right.
Same thing with acting. Work really hard and diligently and learn your craft, so that when you're on the spot, so when you're on set, when you have a big audition, you know what you're doing. You know what your job is. Once I realized what my job was, wow, so many things changed.
Mhm.
And you want to know what the secret is? You know what our job is?
What's the secret?
Our job is not to say the lines. That's what too many actors think. So, for instance, when I have an audition, if I know I have to spend, I usually give myself 6 to 8 hours to prepare for an audition. I learn my lines an hour before I go to camera.
Not earlier than that. 1 hour.
Nope, because that's not my primary job at an audition. I'm allowed to have that script there if I need it. My primary job at an audition and on set is to make my character genuine, I mean, really feeling, really thinking, in the moment, in character, and interesting.
Right.
Once I learned that that was my job, then everything else sort of, it just became so much clearer. And all the other terrible whispers and thoughts, and, you know, like what you had, what I want to run away, this is too much. I went, no, all I got to do is focus on what I'm here to do. That's my job. Make this character genuine, really feeling, really thinking, in character, in the moment. And then if I can figure out a way to make the scene or some moments interesting, I've done my job. Just remember what your job is, right?
Well, in light of making those choices, one of the questions that comes to mind, because I think this kind of harkens back to earlier in the conversation where we were talking about making choices that are interesting and finding the balance between making choices that are interesting. And
I think I'm actually having a good hair day.
I think you really are.
Yeah.
Now you're just rubbing it in, though.
I found a key hairstylist just before when you asked me, and I had her at the ready.
I'm going to
She showed up about 7 hours ago with blow dryers and creams and gels, and I sat there like this, and she just did her thing. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
For me, it was just a little bit of soap. I was good to go, but you know. Yes. But in terms of the choice between big and small, and I guess when I think about characters standing out and choices, you know, I think of Al Pacino when he goes big and guys like that. But then there are also those moments where, you know, like De Niro was talking about doing as little as possible in other contexts, and that being all about relaxing and just being able to let it go. And I think for some actors, those choices come down to a kind of timidity where they're you know, they don't want to look bad, so the safe route is just to be as minimalistic as possible, just say the line, and they can skate by on that. And then on the other end, there's you know, there's making choices that are big and bold that maybe don't sell, and then times when it's sort of Academy Award winning material. So how do you make the choice between big and small, going big or going small?
I think it comes down to a number of factors. First of all, not everybody has a big personality.
Right.
Not everybody can draw on that. Not everybody can relate to those kinds of characters. So you're probably not going to go there. But a lot of that comes down to you remember I said being genuine is part of what your job is. You got to be genuine to the genre and the tone of the show. So, for instance, you're auditioning for a psychological drama. A lot of that stuff's just in here.
Mhm.
A lot of it is the character contemplating, making decisions, having internal battles with themselves. What to do? What do I do? I don't have to show anything. All I have to do is really feel it and think it. And because the camera is so close to us, the audience will sense it.
Mhm.
I don't have to show it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yet, if you're in, let's say you're doing a goofball comedy, like Will Ferrell, sometimes his comedies are a little over the top. Well, your job then is to make it fun.
Mhm.
Well, maybe, I keep on thinking of Will Ferrell in one of the Anchorman movies where, he's all depressed and he's walking the streets and he has, they give him like 10 days worth of growth and he's walking around and then he makes a telephone call, but he's drinking warm milk.
Right.
And then he starts sobbing when he makes the phone call. It's over the top, but he commits himself so much. That's part of the genre and the tone of the movie.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if I show up in that movie making it all internal and and expecting these kinds of close-ups, it ain't gonna happen. It's those movies are shot wider and anything can happen at any time, and that's the fun of it. So you got that's part of being genuine. You got to know the genre and if you can the tone of the project.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And if you understand that, if you have a feel for it, then you can decide what your character's thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
Would you say some are more sort of introspective? There's a lot more of that going on, and then on another level, you might be dealing with a show that it's much more all about physicality, like comedic stuff. Sometimes it's a lot more.
Yeah, that we don't do a lot of physical stuff. Like if you take a look at Seinfeld, I guess Kramer was a physical comedian, and he was brilliant at it. I think some people just have a feel for being very physical, but again, we're not on theater. We're on camera, and most of what we're doing is it's the timing, it's the way you say it, it's the fact, if you're doing something comedic, it's the fact that your character would have nerve to bring that up when you're in that situation, it's the surprise of it. So yeah, you got to understand where you are, what your character is, what's going on, and what would be appropriate. And again, once you learn these basics, it's really hard to do anything wrong. It just is.
Right.
Again, if you're genuinely feeling in character in the moment, it can't be wrong if you understand the tone and the genre and the story and the scene. Why is this scene in the movie? Well, this is the scene where my character meets his future wife. Well, then I have to make something special about her when I first see her. My character might be shy. Maybe he doesn't go up and talk to her. Well, that's interesting, but she's got to be special. Right? And that's the point of the scene. So understanding what's genuine to the scene, understanding what's genuine to the story, understanding what's genuine to the genre and the tone. Then just once you understand, in a sense, you're learning what size canvas am I painting. Once you learn that and where the edges are, do it whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.